Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Danny and today we're going to be looking at some lighthearted recommendations. If you guys got my community post last week, it was a little rough at work, and so I thought I would have a conversation with you guys about some lighthearted reads. So if you're having a hard time either at work or at home or just in general, and you would like a book to dive into to kind of escape for a little bit, but also to give yourself, a little bit of pep in your step, I want to give you guys 5 recommendations. I have a mix of genres for you guys today. So I have some fantasy romance, some sci-fi, some mystery as well. So yeah, let's get to it. The first recommendation that I have for you guys is actually a series. It is a sci-fi series by Becky Chambers, the Robot and Monk series. The first book in the series is A Psalm for the Wild Built, and so I'll put it up on the screen. Both, right now this is a duology, and I think there's supposed to be more, but currently these are the only 2, and there's nothing on Goodreads for like future publishing, so maybe this is just going to stop at a duology, but either way, it's definitely worth a read. These are the only Becky Chambers that I've read, but I do know that she's beloved in the sci-fi world. So if you're interested, what this is about is you follow a T-monk and a robot. And the T-monk is who we start out with. I can't remember their name, but you start out in their world, and as a T-monk, their job is to essentially listen to people's troubles and offer them a place of rest and relaxation. And this T-monk kind of goes off on a journey and runs into a robot. So they live in a society where robots used to be kind of the helpers and builders of society. And one day robots kind of became sentient and they put down their tools and went out to the wilderness, never to be seen again. However, the T-monk that we follow in this runs into a messenger from the civilization of robots that exists somewhere that has to answer the question, what do people need? And you follow the T-monk and this robot traveling together and trying to answer this question and what it means. What do people need, and what is a need versus a want versus it's a close look at society, but it's also this really wholesome, cozy story as well. There isn't a lot that happens, I will say. There's not a lot of plot. You are kind of wandering around with these 2 individuals, and yes, there is a plot. I shouldn't say that there's not a plot, but that's not the most important point of the storyline. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. It's, like I said, very cozy, wholesome, and it actually has some really good messages in it as well. The next recommendation that I have for you guys is a murder mystery, and that is called Meet Your Baker. This is actually a recent read. So this was, I don't want to call it my first cozy mystery, but I'm trying to get into that genre a little bit, and this definitely qualifies. So in this, you follow Juliet, who is a chef on a cruise liner and has decided to come home after some troubles with her husband. And she comes home to a bakery that she grew up in called Tort, and she bakes with her mother. However, in this small town bakery that we have, there is a murder that ensues very, very early on in the book, and you have to figure out, it happens in the bakery, and you have to figure out who did it, and why, what are the, like, there's like politics and things going on in this little tiny town. There's a whole bunch of relationships that you learn about. And even though the stakes are kind of high because obviously someone has been murdered, it's so focused on the bakery and the relationships between the people in this town and the kind of cozy, warm vibes that, hometowns give. It was a really lighthearted story, and bonus, all of the recipes that are in this book, or I shouldn't say all, but a lot of the recipes that they make in this book are actually given to you at the very back of the book. So twofer. I absolutely love this. I thought it was so cute. The next recommendation I have for you guys is actually my current read, but I couldn't help but put it on this list because it is so cute. Currently I'm only about 30% of the way into it, but if you are into rom-coms and a little bit of sci-fi, I really think that you might enjoy The Road to Roswell. So this book follows Francie, who is a very level-headed person who is traveling to Roswell for a wedding for her, I think it's her college friend. And her college friend is marrying an alien believer, and they are traveling to Roswell during the, like some festival that, it's like an alien abduction festival that they have. And she is a little annoyed at the fact that she's there. And she is abducted by an alien. And supposedly it does have romance in it. I haven't run into that yet, but I have ran into some funny antics and some hilarity in this as well. I have had a lot of fun with this. I can't tell you with 100% certainty that I'm going to love the ending, but I'm loving it so far. And if it sounds fun to you, I think that you should give it a try. The next recommendation, I'm sure, needs absolutely no introduction, and that is Legends and Lattes. This is a fantasy book about an orc named Viv who has decided to hang up her sword and become a barista. And this is just a very, very cozy story. However, a lot of people who talk about this book say that this book doesn't have any stakes. And that's not actually true. There are some pretty serious things that go on in this book that you have to deal with. But kind of like the Meet Your Baker book, the focus of the book is the coffee experience. And there is a character in this book that I absolutely love. I can't remember his name, but he loves to bake and ends up making pastries and stuff for the coffee shop that is built. And he just steals my heart every time I read this book. So this is definitely a book that I can see myself going back to over and over again and have gone back to just for a smile on my face. So if you like coffee, if you like fantasy, and you like cozy stories, this is absolutely perfect. The last recommendation that I have for you guys is a fantasy romance, and that is Half a Soul. There was actually a series of books along with Half a Soul. Half a Soul is the first one. I think it's a series of standalones. So this is the only one that I've read, but if you do like this, there are more books within this series that you can read. This is a Regency romance with fantasy elements. So one of the characters that you follow, or the main character, is Dora. And Dora has an experience when she's very young where she has an encounter with a fae, and this fae has taken half of her soul. And this makes her emotions and her thought processes much different than everyone around her. She is seen as kind of dull as far as like her emotions go, and a little bizarre as far as normal personalities, and so a lot of people do avoid her. And she is being thrown into I think they could just call it a season, where they have a whole bunch of balls and they're trying to, her and her family are trying to find her husband, along with, I can't remember if it's her cousin or her, I know it's a relative of hers that she's traveling with. But yeah, so they're in London and they are in the middle of a season. They're going to all these balls, and she has to deal with society that she really just doesn't, she just kind of wants to hang back and be ignored. However, she catches the eye of one of the most hated people in the society, which is called the Lord Sorcerer, and their relationship in this book is so cute. He's very crotchety, but has a soft side, and she is just she's a very interesting character because of how her emotions work. She still has emotions, but they definitely show through different than others. And there are some stakes in this as well. I'm not going to get too much into that, but this is definitely a very lighthearted read, and it's It doesn't take itself too seriously. It's very, very fun. And like I said, I absolutely loved the romance in this book between the Lord Sorcerer and Dora. I just thought that they were a very cute couple. So yeah. So that is my list of 5 lighthearted reads that will hopefully help you try and relax if you are having a stressed out time, either at work or at home. If you guys have any reads that you go to whenever you're stressed out, let me know what they are in the comments down below. I'd love to have that conversation with you. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you have a lovely evening, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.